Hi everyone. So we are back again today with a Q&A session on Sushant Singh Rajput. As the video tagline probably tells you, this is the 100th day since his death, and we thought like there have been so many events in these last 100 days, and so many questions which are still unanswered, and we thought of putting them together in this session. And I will be asking the questions majorly, and she will be giving us the answers. So do feel free to share your views on these questions, or if you have more questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. We'll make a start. Pia, ready for it?
Yes, I am. And guys, before we start, I want to thank you all for subscribing to my channel. Really means a lot. And those who haven't, please click on the bell icon and the subscription button. Also, please like and share these videos with your friends and family so that we can keep coming back with more videos. Yeah?
Right. Right then, we'll make a start. So, Pia, what were your views about Sushant Singh before his death?
Right. So 14th of June is probably one day that many Indians will remember for a very long time now. And Sushant was a big name. He is still, obviously, he's a bigger name now. He's a big name. And from the days of Pavitra Rishta until 14th of June, I always felt he's a very good looking man. Sushant's movies like MS Dhoni, Kai Poche obviously touched our heart somewhere.
Of course.
So, yeah, we did not worship him as a hero. I did not worship him as a hero, but definitely thought that, he would light up the screen when he was on the screen. So, yeah.
So, what was your view and reaction when you first heard about his death? How did you come to know about it?
It was a Sunday, and we sleep late on Sundays. It was 10 o'clock here in the UK, and the usual morning routine, I woke up and I went to Times of India, and then I see him there on the front page or on the screen, a striped t shirt from Chichore. So that photo was put up and said Sushant Singh Rajput has committed suicide. So it was a big shock, and I think that shock still lingers. Otherwise, I remember his t-shirt color. So, and I think I woke you up.
Yeah, you did.
And ever since then, I have been following that case, and I've been on the case, as in, I've been following it up on telly and on newspaper, and we've been discussing it.
Of course.
Yeah. So yeah, it's shocking. It's shocking. It shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, and I think almost immediately two things were floated, in the media, for us to read in the social feeds or everywhere over the internet. The one was nepotism, and one was depression theory.
Yeah.
So, do you buy in this nepotism theory and the depression theory being linked and thereby leading to something which justifies the suicide?
Nepotism exists. I mean, let's accept it. It exists everywhere. It exists in other industries as well. It exists in Bollywood as well. There is no harm in, say, accepting that nepotism exists. However, when you don't allow new talents to come up, that's when the problem arises. So I think that's what happened to Sushant. I mean, people realize his abilities. He was a fantastic. Now I know him even more because after his demise, which is unfortunate. I wish I knew him earlier. He had a great working brain. He was a fantastic actor, such a good-looking man. He had those middle class values to which people would relate. Most people would relate. So yeah, he was perfect. And if that is ignored or sidelined, we have seen many occasions on telly where the A-listers have been, purposely ignoring him or humiliating him, even to an extent, misusing his name or, making fun of his name at a larger podium.
Do you think that has led to any kind of depression?
No, I don't think he was depressed, because I think he is not that weak of a man or weak of a brain to actually fall into that. But obviously one feels hurt.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it happens when you're giving your full and you're getting nothing. So obviously.
Right. So you do not buy in the depression theory?
I don't know.
Right. But you do agree that there was this nepotism thing doing the rounds, which was sidelining him a bit, which might have had an impact on him, but wouldn't be to that extent where
that he would commit
push
suicide.
him to be a depressed soul and thereby.
Yeah.
Okay. So with the depression theory out, the suicide angle out, as per you.
Yeah.
What do you think? Was it still kind of a push, an abetment to suicide, or was it homicide or murder?
I personally feel it's a homicide. The
Okay.
only reason
Why do you
there are
think that?
few reasons really, because one is Mumbai police being quiet for 65 days.
Mhm.
Mumbai police is the finest in the country. We
Mhm.
all know that.
Mhm.
And they not reacting at all.
Yeah.
And instead, saying this is a depressed man, this is a druggie, and this is like a molester, etc., etc. He just got depressed and committed suicide. That is so irresponsible of Mumbai police to say it without having any forensic or without having a proper investigation in the matter.
Mm-hmm. So you think this was done on purpose?
Of course, it was done on purpose. Of course, I mean, obviously, Mumbai Commissioner Paramveer Singh doesn't make these decisions. He's being told what to do, and thus he's doing. He's also got a boss.
Therefore, you feel that there is a murder angle to this.
There is
which
a
they're
foul
trying to-
play.
Okay.
There's a foul play. Yeah.
But why would the Mumbai police or the government? I mean, I'll come to the government's role.
Yeah.
Why do you think they would do what you're saying? I mean, obviously, this is not you are not the only person who's saying this. Many are saying that there is a foul play which the government is trying to hide.
Yeah.
And do you really buy that theory, or it's just a conspiracy theory?
Of course, to protect their own. It's simple as that. They're simply protecting their own. I mean, they have a hand in the matter. I don't know. I don't want to name anybody in particular, but there are, these things saying Baby Penguin was involved and his friends were involved, who are amongst the A-listers.
I mean, obviously, whenever a big thing happens,
Yeah.
and the media, gets into the thick of things,
Yeah.
there are a lot of theories that are floated.
Of course.
Right.
Hmm.
I mean, this is obviously nowhere near to the 9/11 case, but if you go into the
Yeah.
internet today, even today after so many years, you will see so many, theories being floated, so for and against it, and so don't you think that this can be possibly? I mean, these are just kind of media hype and something which
Media
is not,
wouldn't need to step in if the Mumbai police and the government did something in the 65 days
Right.
that they got.
I mean, you don't think that this is a simple case of suicide, black and white?
It doesn't fit. The circumstances doesn't fit. He cannot be hanging himself in a slanted manner. He cannot be. He's 6 feet tall by his own admittance, and he cannot be on the bed, which is and the ceiling. What's his name? Sandeep Singh himself said that ceiling was very low, so Sushant can't fit in between. So he had to probably crouch and then slant himself. I hardly think he's done so much. He's brighter than that. And most importantly, why did the government not do anything? Why are they avoiding the topic? Why are they avoiding the investigation?
What do you think of the film fraternity's first reaction, or even their reaction now? I mean, just not about the death, but the things that have followed.
In events like CAA, they could actually go and stand with fellow mates and light candles, which I'm not against or for or anything. I'm just saying they could do that. But when one of their own has passed away in a mysterious way, they have absolutely nothing to say. And I don't expect each person from Bollywood to come and say, "Oh, justice for SSR," and stand with a placard. But I'm just saying, why aren't the A-listers? Where is Mr. Bachchan? Where is Mr. Shah Rukh Khan? Where is Mr. Amir Khan? Where is Mr. Salman Khan?
They
Who
might
cares for
just say that their opinions, if voiced, can influence a lot of people. The situation is already quite volatile. So if they make a statement, and the case is obviously under investigation, so they making a statement or not making a statement doesn't make a difference. That the investigation is on. This might be their version of it. That therefore, if I make a statement, it might influence people and make the situation more volatile. Hence, I have to exercise some kind of constraint, and therefore I'm keeping quiet.
Well, now we know why they're quiet. I mean, all the big A-listers are getting summoned by NCB, so it clearly says why they're quiet, and because they all have, something going on.
But certain things, have to be put into perspective. If we are talking about, say, someone like a Deepika Padukone or a Ranveer Singh, I mean, how are they their own? I mean, they are not from the film fraternity. I mean, if we are talking about nepotism, they are also quote-unquote outsiders. is it just about people, the PR about
I just
people?
want to correct you here. Ranveer Singh is not an outsider. He, of course, he's clever enough to not put his last name Bhavnani, because then people would get to know that he's Sonam's second cousin. But he's definitely not an outsider.
But then there are like people like Deepika is obviously not from the film. So do you think this is just about being from the film fraternity, or is it about being from the rich and it's a divide between the rich and the middle class people, or the lower middle class people who are coming to the industry? So these people who have been born with the the
Silver spoon, you mean?
are kind of keeping an arm's distance of from the others.
I think Bollywood industry, and I think many other industries, I'm sure, they're purely working on apna types. Those who fit in that apna circle. Now we know that like D is involved in the drug case and everything. So she has her own clout. So she has her own, people. Probably
so it boils down to PR, isn't it? Public relationship.
Public as in their own people.
Yeah, I mean, if you are amongst people, I mean, if that's the crowd or the cloud, that you need to kind of be with to progress in this.
Yeah, it's like you butter me and I butter you, simple. And if you refuse to butter me, then I refuse to accept you.
Right. But that is for every industry, isn't it? It's just not for Bollywood. I mean, my only question here is that why would Bollywood be kind of analyzed so much and criticized so much for it? This is nothing new. I mean, there are.
No, it is nothing new. But the only strange thing is that they are all quiet. Why are they quiet? Why?
Right. So your main point here is that why are they quiet? Why are they not coming up with some statements?
Something,
Yeah.
to go for the truth.
Yeah. So obviously we have seen recently, and contrary to the flow, they have been supporting Ria. Like people have spoken against the media of kind of pushing it too far with Ria, passing judgment, doing media trials against her. So there are two hashtags which obviously are there. One is for Sushant, justice for SSR, and then this newly developed one, justice for Ria, which surprisingly the Bollywood fraternity has set up and kind of made comments on, or even written jingles around it. So what do you think of these two? I mean, this apparently dichotomous behavior from the industry, and what do you make of these two hashtags? Sorry, just
Yeah, so justice for SSR, let's just continue doing saying that. Justice for SSR hashtag, we all need to know the truth. And justice for Ria boycott, simply because she doesn't need us. She's got the entire Bollywood, going for her, and now we know why. So
do you see a dichotomy there?
yes, I do. Yes, like I said, Ria, they're all going behind Ria's justice for Ria. But now we know why they are, since all the A-listers are going to be summoned this week by NCB.
Right. So, what is the media's role, do you think, overall? I mean, what do you think of it?
I think media has done fantastic job. I mean, two of the biggest media houses, if it weren't for them, the three agencies that are looking into this matter now would have never looked into the matter. So obviously, 1.3 billion people can't go and shout saying, we need to know the truth, we need to know the truth. And media is the face of the public. So I think they've done fantastic. Although I don't support hounding or lynching onto a woman and going with mice in front of her face and all that. But we got to admit that if they don't make that noise, this case will be shut like it was.
Right. So the investigative journalism, the proves that they have tried to gather the efforts. You're saying that's really important, and that has led to at least some kind of not shutting this case off, and still it's being persisted, and there's a pressure all around that has been created by the media. That's the good part of it.
Abs-
While you're giving a thumbs down to the other part of it.
Absolutely. I mean, if you go back in history, or not in history, but a few years back, where Indrani Mukherjee, Peter Mukherjee, their cases were looked into because of media's investigative journalism.
Mhm.
And if we can entertain BBC, CNN, and other big networks doing that, why do we have to, shame Indian networks doing
Yeah.
that? So yeah. Definitely. If it weren't for two particular individuals in the media houses, this case would still be shut.
Yeah, before we move to the last segment, one more point. Obviously, Kangna has been getting a lot of airtime and focus in this entire
She
thing
has,
through all
yeah.
the media houses. And now, obviously, there has been this war of words and some actions
Yeah.
for and against her with the government as well. And recently, with the big shots in the industry. So she doesn't seem to shy away from any of them. Do you think she's really up for this cause, or she has kind of an agenda which is pushing her to do what she's doing?
Let's be honest to ourselves. I mean, we all have agendas, okay? We all have agendas. We all have, every single human being on this planet works for their own self. We're all selfish. There's no denying that. And so she definitely has an agenda. She definitely has some sort of, aim that she wants to get to. However, if that agenda leads to the investigation of this matter and brings the closure to Sushant's family and to the public, then I think she should go for it. She should continue. And she's a brave soul, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Slightly different topic here. Okay, so how do you think Bollywood would be viewed by the public at large post this event? I mean, irrespective of the outcome, do you think things will change in Bollywood? Do you think people will look at Bollywood and treat and respond to Bollywood movies in a different way, respond to Bollywood stars in a different way than they have been, kind of the way people have treated them and looked upon them over the decades?
I sincerely hope that things change. I mean, I sincerely hope new talents are given opportunities. I sincerely hope that people are encouraged. People shouldn't be scared to enter this industry. Common people shouldn't be scared, and they shouldn't fear for their life to enter this industry. I mean, it is such a royal industry, and it's such a rewarding industry if you work hard, isn't it? And to be honest, hero worshipping will never go away from our country. That will remain. Everything said and done, including myself. Tomorrow, if a movie comes out, now I'm going to try and not watch until probably SSR gets his justice. But, eventually we'll all have to give in, because Bollywood is all over. Okay, that is not going to stop. But I really, really plead to the A-listers and to the big shots of the industry to please allow common man and please allow new talents to come up. Please don't stop them, Please don't, scare them. They shouldn't be scared to enter the industry. So, yeah, I hope things change.
So we're coming to the very last part of the questionnaire. So, do you think there will be a conclusive closure to this case, or do you think this will just fizzle away? And given so many investigations going on in parallel, so many elements coming into the picture now, drugs, money laundering, and then obviously the death. What do you think is the way forward? Are you really hopeful, or do you think this will just be another case which will die its own death?
I want to believe in the system. I really want to believe in the system of our nation. I want to believe that there are still people working in a manner that they should be, in an honest way. I truly want to see a closure, just like his family and just like rest of the country. We want to see a closure. But having said that, and now with all the angles and everything, drug angle, money laundering, and everything coming into place, I'm not sure about the time frame. I do believe, or I want to believe, that the closure should be brought, but I'm not too sure about the time frame, because it's already been 40 days since CBI hasn't come into the picture.
Yeah, and also I think
it's
difficult. I mean, obviously, if CBI did not get a fresh case, they have come after so much of tampering and everything. So, yeah, but let's keep a hopeful thought towards it. Let's hope things really come to a closure. All I think everyone can expect after so much is that it comes to a closure.
Yeah.
The tragedy and the irony is that even after 100 days, the questions which were there on the first day are still remaining unanswered, and that's the sad part of it. In a democracy, in a country, in today's world of technology, where we can kind of get almost to capture everything, every information, every piece of information. A person of this stature dying an unnatural death, and there are no answers uh, for 100 days. I mean, that in itself is a statement which should make people kind of you know sh-
Shiver.
shaken up basically by this fact. But let's see how it goes, and we all hope that, and I'm sure many of you watching us also hope for the same, for a closure, to see to the end of this, and hopefully we get a closure soon. Do let us know how you liked our video. And Pia, any parting words from you?
Yeah, I mean, it's 100 days, and I hope we don't come to 200. I really hope and I pray that we don't come to 200, and before then, we get a closure to this matter, and may his soul rest in peace, honestly. Now, having said that, if you guys have liked our video, please let us know how you liked it. Please also let us know what you think of this matter. Are you for justice for SSR, or are you for justice for Ria, or do you think the case is there is no closure, there's never going to be a closure? Please let us know in the comments below, and do like, share, subscribe, and until then, have a good night, stay safe. I'll see you next time. Bye
See
bye.
ya. Bye.